Let's get to our Trader Blitz. First up, Madison Square Garden surging today after announcing it plans to explore spinning off its business. You sold that today.
I sold it today. Look, it has been a great company. It's up 70% in the year and a half that I've owned it. And look, when I bought it, there was about a 40% discount to the enterprise value versus the value of the assets. Today, in my opinion, it trades right at the fair value of those assets. So the financial engineering, which is what they're doing, of possibly spinning off the Knicks and Rangers, will take care of the taxes that if they had sold these teams, if they ever sold them, they would have had to pay taxes. That is taken away. Now what I've got is fair value for the Knicks and Rangers in Madison Square Garden, all of which are, pretty high value. Does somebody pay more than the $3.6 billion that Forbes values the Knicks for? I don't know, but I'm not going to play around for that. It's been a great stock, and I'm out of it now.
McCormick hitting an all-time high on strong earnings. Michael Farr.
I think the earnings are going to keep rising. I think the balance sheet's strong. I think the company's well positioned. They really had to turn things around. It's kind of a slower, sleepier name, but at 9 times, 10 times earnings, I think it makes sense.
Bed Bath & Beyond falling today after reporting a decline in same-store sales. Pete.
Yeah, and that was the only thing anybody focused on. They didn't care about the fact that they had beat on earnings. They were in line with revenue. But you know what? They're losing, I think, to the Targets and the TJXs of the world.
Chipotle sinking today after they told, with management that is, told an investor call that they're planning on closing 65 underperforming restaurants. The way they answered questions and specifically about what they could add to the new menu and what they think about international growth, people were not satisfied with how they answered, or maybe more accurately, did not answer those questions, Weiss.
Yeah, so let's keep in mind, this stock has had a huge move with the new CEO that came in. And now it's hitting reality.
80% move.
Now it's hitting reality and saying, okay, what's behind the curtain? Does the emperor have any clothes? And the answer is, it's too soon to tell. So he just hasn't been there that long. He was paid in advance in terms of the stock price for what he was going to do. It's going to reset, may go lower, but it's got such a cult following as well. It's so overvalued. It was even overvalued at the bottom relative to restaurants. It was trading like a high-tech company, and it's not.
I mean, the multiple here is, what, 68 or somewhere along those lines, in the 60s here. And so we ask, if you're to look at various examples in the quick serve space, in the restaurant space, this is trading at a higher multiple than Starbucks, which could be perceived as a turnaround story. McDonald's, which also could be perceived as a turnaround story. The only Shake Shack is trading at a higher multiple, but it's probably got more growth, maybe well charted. Versus Chipotle.
I think that's the biggest problem. The biggest hangover right now for the stock is absolutely where the valuation lies. But I do think it was a great hire. They're going to work on the technology side of things. So all of that, I think, is a positive. That's why the stock had the run. But I think you're seeing days like today where you're down 8%, Mel. And I think people are actually focusing on, hey, look, where is this thing's valuation? Where is it? It's too high.
It's a pretty competitive space, too.
Yeah,
it's not like Shake Shack that has sort of a niche that's carved out. I don't agree with that valuation either. But this is extremely competitive. And aside from Josh, who's going to call up an order?
When you say extremely competitive, you're saying that, not just strictly what they sell, which is sort of fresh Mexican fare. I don't know how you want to characterize that, but just anything that you could buy for $10.
Yeah, in the broad category, but also Qdoba, and there are others that are popping up.
Look, we were talking about Yum Brands yesterday, and I think the multiple is
where Brian Nichol came from.
Of what you get for Chipotle. And it's not the same cuisine, I get that, but it's the same space of, primarily lunch people who want to get in and out in 5 minutes. And it doesn't make sense.
If you can buy a Starbucks, if you want to get in this space and you see, to me, a little more conservative company like a Starbucks with a 3% dividend, I'm going to own that.
Starbucks, by the way, which is feeling the pressure because of CFO announcing that it's going to leave. Would you rather, which is a game we like to play on 5 o'clock show, but I'll bring it here to the halftime report to you, Pete. Starbucks or Chipotle?
Starbucks.
Oh, that was fast?
Easy.
All day long.
The valuation, when you look at the fundamental story of Starbucks right now, they're incomparable, quite honestly.
I wouldn't own either.
Ooh.
That wasn't the game.
That really wasn't the choice.
You should buy Starbucks.
You don't understand the game, clearly.
Well, this is a halftime adjunct.
Well, okay, that's fair.
Look, Starbucks, I think that's also highly competitive, a very mature space, and I just don't know why you don't.
It's got a great brand is the only reason.
It's got a great brand.
And right now, listen, your argument actually made a lot of sense, back when it was at 58 instead of 47. And it had a high or low 20s multiple. Now it's about 17 times multiple. Unless you think that brand is really broken, and I don't, by the way, that's an incredible price to get this brand, 17 times.
It's not that it's broken. It's just that I don't believe the growth is there.
It might temporarily be impaired. I'll grant you that.
And even in China, for that matter, which is a real disappointment.
That's the part that's killing them.
All right.
That's short term. I think that's coming.
That's the point. It's temporary.
Don't be impatient.
Hey there, thanks for checking out CNBC on YouTube. Be sure to subscribe to stay up to date on all of the day's biggest stories. You can also click on any of the videos around me to watch the latest from CNBC. Thanks for watching.